Hello, I'm David. I've been an immigration lawyer for more than 5 years now. And today I'm gonna give you some tips on how to relocate to Spain as an IT expert. For people like you, developers, marketing, sales, project manager, whatever you are, IT crowd. So today we're gonna speak about where in Spain can you relocate as an IT expert. Also, we're gonna look different visa options, visa scenarios, which is the best option for you and what residence permit is the one that fits you better. And also, unfortunately, we're going to talk about taxes. When relocating to another country, the first decision you need to take is choosing where. In Spain, we have several options with a lot of opportunities, such as Madrid and Barcelona, which are the easiest one. But if you prefer less crowded places, you can choose, for example, Valencia or Malaga, which are becoming tech hubs nowadays. On the other hand, if you're a romantic and you prefer greeny places or cloudy, more cold, you can choose always the north of Spain with Galicia, Asturias, or similar places. Spain is one of the countries with best internet connection. But not only this, big cities, the easy options like Barcelona or Madrid, also offer big communities, big tech communities, expats community, and you can go to several workspaces, co-workings. It's in Barcelona, where I am from, it's full of them. Also, there are new tech hubs that are emerging in Spain, such as Valencia or Malaga, that also make this a good option to relocate. If you're a romantic and you prefer cloudy and greeny places, there's also the option of relocating to the north of Spain, where also the internet is very good, although it's a rural area. So, now that I've convinced you to relocate to Spain and start your new life as an IT specialist, let's go to the topic. Let's go to the elephant in the room. There are three main options that you can choose when relocating to Spain. In all of them, unfortunately, you have to have an employer, someone willing to hire you. It doesn't matter the structure, it doesn't matter how are they going to employ you. There are always options. However, you need to have someone willing to hire you. We cannot record this video without mentioning what everyone is talking about, which is the digital nomad visa. This is a residence permit that will allow you to keep your work overseas, abroad. And basically what you need to take into account is that you have been working for the same client or the same company for more than 3 months, and that this company has been working up and running for more than 1 year. Also, you need to take into account that the salary or the perception as a self-employed is more than about 2,000, 2,100 euros per month. Another option to work as an IT expert in Spain is not doing so for a company based abroad, but for a Spanish company. There are two main options here, which are working as a freelancer or as an employee. If you choose working for that company as an employee, you need to take into account that there are two main residence permits, the highly qualified one and the regular one. The regular one is quite difficult to obtain because basically you need to demonstrate that there is no other candidate in Europe qualified for that job position, which unless you have a unique profile will not be met because there will be always like you. The main option is applying for the so-called highly qualified residence permit. For that, you only need to have 3 years of experience or have a diploma, a master's or PhD. Also, you need to meet certain salary profiles, but these are not very high. The last option, if you also want to work as an IT expert in Spain, is doing this as a freelancer in Spain, as a Spanish freelancer. For that, if you intend to have several clients, it doesn't matter if they are individuals or other companies, you will need to draft a business plan and submit it to the consulate. Then, after 3 or 4 months, you will receive a final decision. And if your business plan looks profitable, you will be granted with a residence permit as a freelancer. So, to sum up, if you want to relocate to Spain and apply for a work permit as an IT specialist, you have three main options depending on you want to keep your employer abroad or in Spain. If you want to keep your employers in Spain, you can apply as an employee, the highly qualified residence permit, or as a self-employed. On the other hand, if you want to keep your employee abroad, you can always apply for the digital nomad visa. So if you ask me, David, what's the best option to relocate to Spain? Well, in my opinion, the best options are always the digital nomad visas and the highly qualified resident permit. Why is that? Because both of them can be applied directly from Spain, and the resolution time is more or less 1 month. On the other hand, the regular work permit, besides this requirement of having to prove that there is no one else eligible, and the freelancer visa, the self-employed visa, require always you to apply from the home country, from your consulate, and the resolution time is always higher. But depending on the scheme you follow when relocating to Spain, you will be paying more or less taxes. Also, depending on your profile on the residence permit you apply, you may be eligible for the so-called Beckham Law, the expat special tax regime that may allow you to pay only taxes for the income perceived in Spain. Some tips when relocating to Spain. The first one I would recommend is to start preparing your application abroad. It's true that I've told you that many applications can be submitted in Spain, directly in Spain, while you are in Spain as a tourist. However, my recommendation is to start preparing the application abroad before your relocation. Otherwise, since you have limited time to apply for this residence permit in Spain, you may not reach the deadline. Another point is that the digital nomad visa is meant for freelancers or employees who are working for foreign companies, for companies based abroad. However, business directors, if they prove that they have managerial control on their own company, can also apply for the digital nomad visa. Another thing that you need to take into account when applying for the digital nomad visa as an employee is that you may need to obtain the Social Security certificate, and this document may take several months to be obtained. If you want to avoid being asked by the immigration office when submitting your application, our recommendation is for those residence permits that allow you to apply directly from Spain, enter directly to Spain. Do not do any stopovers in any other Schengen countries. Some applications can be submitted online. However, if you want to do this on your own, you need to take into account that you need to obtain the so-called digital certificate, which sometimes it's tricky. However, us as lawyers can submit the application on your behalf. Relocating to Spain is quite of a process. There are many documents to obtain, there are many requirements to meet, legalizations, translations, going there, going to this other place. So if you want to secure success, our recommendation is always hiring a lawyer. And at Lexidy, we can offer you the best ones. So if you want to learn more about how to relocate to Spain as an IT expert, check out the description where you will see a link where you can hire a free consultation with one of our legal experts. Also, don't forget to share this video with your acquaintances, with your friends, with your family, give a like, and all of these things that YouTubers say.